Delghingaro's first writing love is screenwriting, but her newfound love is fiction. She'll be getting her start in the film industry this summer and writing when she's not dead from working. I should mention that each writer wrote their own bio. In her free time, she likes to hang out with her cats and tell her friends lame jokes. This summer, she'll be heading to Atlanta with her film crew to show her short film at a national student film festival. She has work published in the Two Cities Review. Her mom thinks she's a pretty all right writer. Ladies and gentlemen, Kat.
Alright, so if you haven't heard me complain about it yet, in Jerry's class, in his advanced fiction class, we have to turn in a 60-page novel, well, half of a novel, by the end of the semester. And I'm going to read a piece of that. It's like the third chapter, and I'll try my best to explain it. There's a girl named Dorothy in the book. The story's about, she falls in love with another girl named Sid. She's nicknamed the Wiz. And they fall in love while they're competing against each other in roller derby. This happens in chapter 3, and the only thing you really need to know is that Landon is Dorothy's brother, and the Wicked Witches is the name of Dorothy's old roller derby team. When I walk out of the classroom, Wiz is throwing a pair of beat-up skates at me. They smell like moldy cheese, and I hold them at arm's length. These aren't my size. Put them on. She's standing against the wall, one skate on the floor. She's staring at her hand, picking at a scab, acting like she didn't show up in my classroom demanding for me to follow her, acting like we aren't complete strangers. How did you know I was going to be here? I sit on the floor and pull the skates on. They're about 2 sizes too big, and if I'm not careful, I'll break my neck. You have huge feet, by the way. She frowns at me and starts to weave around the hallway, obviously impatient. I want to tell her to stop. There are statues and weird pieces of art hanging from the ceiling, asking for her to knock them down. She stops and leans against the statue of a child embracing his mother. They look like 2 pigs fighting. She picks at the child's snout. My roommate Oliver goes here. He told me freshmen are required to have a studio, so I checked 3 classrooms before finding yours. I was going to come back tomorrow, but I didn't find it. You realize how creepy that sounds, and how lucky you got. What if I had a studio on Friday? I'm persistent. She pulls her black hair into a ponytail, a lot of hair, so she's only able to wrap the band twice. She looks at me and lifts an eyebrow, so I climb off the floor and follow her down the hallway. My backpack full of notebooks and my boots are weighing me down. I want to ask if I could drop my backpack off before we head out, but I don't want to inconvenience her, even though she's literally the one causing me trouble. She throws the door open and hops the 3 steps, landing with a smack on the concrete. I follow her lead, not wanting to feel left behind. I wobble a little, but stay standing, quickly realize how stupid I was. That was dangerous on these 2 big skates. There are students sitting at the tables in the courtyard that look disgruntled at the disturbance. One girl is erasing aggressively. It's dark, and some of the street lamps are broken, and I'm left wondering why the hell I'm following a stranger down the street. There's a few students walking around with bags of food in one hand and another person's hand in the other. Liz is skating ahead of me, weaving her way through people, her coat waving in the not quite fall air behind her. Where are we going, I ask. I'm not sure yet. I couldn't keep up with her. The 2 large skates are holding me down like when I wore Landon's shoes when I was younger. I hadn't figured out yet why her skates are so big when she's multiple inches shorter than me. It's disproportionate. She slows by the music store but keeps skating as we pass it. Great, I'm being kidnapped. She turns to face me and skates backwards, her feet giving a little extra flair with a turn, and I wonder if this is how she normally skates or if she's showing off. Stop being dramatic, Ruby. You'll come out alive, I promise. You can call me Dorothy if you want. She winks at me, but she can't wink, so both lids go down and it looks more like a weird splint. I like Ruby. She turns back around and races ahead of me. When we weave our way through people and cars, skating past a stray dog eating garbage and a van with a broken window. The buildings pass by in a blur of white, browns, and blacks. The street lights flicker on when Wiz flies under them, illuminating the shine of her hair and the glitter specks on her skates. She skates like an Olympic figure skater, with all the grace and power in the world, and I can admire that. Most derbies skate with muscle and endurance, but not Wiz. We skate across a bridge and down a main street that's packed with cars and people shopping. Wiz taps on a stranger's shoulder when she flies past them, forcing them to only look at her.
The trees are shining with fairy lights and storefronts are lit up with clothes I've only dreamt of having. A couple jumps out of the way as we speed past them. We keep going and don't stop. We weave and dodge, and after a while I manage to catch up to Liz. She smiles at me and I can't look away. She pulls my arm, tugging me out of the way of a taxi trying to get by. The driver yells at us. Sometime into the night, when the moon is inching higher into the sky, she takes my hand and pulls me onto the lip of the sidewalk pulling onto the lip where the sidewalk meets the road. We reach a street of apartments similar to my brother's and I, but taller, more modern. We sit for a moment, enjoying the silence of the night after skating through the chaos of the shopping district of Chicago. I'm not even sure we were allowed to skate there. So, where are we? I ask as I pick up a pebble and throw it into the water-filled pothole. It sinks to the bottom and doesn't even attempt to skip. I don't have much of a plan, to be honest. I was going to take you to the music store and talk to you, but then I couldn't stop. Clouds stripped over the moon, making us rely on the lights from the street lamps and the fairy lights in the trees. The buzzing in the air reminds me of the power it takes to light them. It swims through my veins, setting the goosebumps on my arm ablaze. What did you want to talk about? She plays with the ties of her skates. I was at the tryouts. One of the laces slips free, and I watch as her fingers expertly tie them. Tryouts for what? She smirks at her skates as if she is up to something. Sebastian makes that face before he pulls a bag of rice from the pantry. The wicked witches. She tried out with me. I guess I was distracted at tryouts and I didn't notice her, although I don't know how I could have missed her, especially with the way she skates and the way she lights up a room, like a direct light hitting the glitter on her skates just right. I'm sorry, I don't. She interrupts me, a strange spark of anger in her voice. They picked you over me. I'm sorry. I watch her face wrinkle. It's not your fault. She picks at a grass trying to grow in between the cracks of the pavement. I want to stop because the grass took a lot to grow there. When Kendra said you stopped in, I had to find you. But then you stumbled on these skates tonight, and I realized I couldn't intimidate you like I planned. Intimidate me? You're barely 5 feet on skates. What were you planning on doing? It's going to lock you in the back room of the music store for an hour. I smile and watch her from the corner of my eye. She breaks first and starts laughing, and I follow soon after. Someone yells at us from a window, and I realize how late it's getting. Oh no, locked in the back of the music store. What would I have done? Okay, I'll admit it wasn't the best plan. We sit for a while talking about nothing. I tell her about living with Landon and finding Sebastian. She asks me about school and the trailer park I come from. I tell her about our old neighbor who had the hots for Landon. When she finds out Landon visits, she waits on her porch and yells obscenities at him. After a lull in conversation, Liz pulls me up and drives me down the street. I don't argue because I don't want to let go of her hand. I don't know where we're going, and there's a voice in the back of my head that's telling me to text Landon and to tell him where I'm at, just in case. Again, I have to let go of Landon or Liz's hand, and I don't have great priorities. We skate down the street for a few minutes. There's not as many people out as the night grows shorter, and the stars are the brightest. We run out of bright trees and are only lit by lights. She pulls me under a brick arch to the door of her building. A group of girls stumble past us and into the building next labeled Cohen Residence Hall. What are we doing here? Liz holds up her keys in response. She rustles with the door before it flies open. I expect an alarm or someone to see us, but nothing. I follow her, and she pulls the door shut. Flipping a switch, the lights turn on, and my eyes take a moment to adjust. We are in a gym, being guarded off by cones and basketball hoops, and the basketball hoops are missing their nets. I realize that this is the same gym I stepped into, but now there's less commotion, and I'm able to take it all in. This is our practice gym. It's falling apart. Yeah, it's not glamorous, but we're lucky to have anything. The hockey team has to practice on rollerblades, which is hilarious to watch. She skates over to another door and unlocks it. Skate size, 6.5. Tiny feet, I hear her muffled yell. She emerges with a pair of skates in her hand and hands them to me. Here, they should fit better. I won't get foot fungus from these, will I? I sit down and name off her skates. They come off easily. No promises. After I get the new skates on, she helps me up and pulls me to the starting line. That's 2 cones making a straight line. Let's race. What does the winner get? She smiles at me and shifts on her skates. I notice that she can't seem to stand still for even a second. It's interesting to be next to someone who always must be moving. It's hard to keep up with, but I'll try my best. She places her hands on her hips. Guess you'll have to find out. She bends down to starting position and I mirror her. I can see her from the corner of my eye and watch her mouth turn into a smirk. 3, 2, 1, go, she yells quickly. She takes off ahead of me, but it doesn't take long to catch up. She lets me have the inside corner so I'm able to speed in front of her. As we take the second corner, I feel a hand on my shoulder, and then she's skating next to me. Her skate hits mine, and I have to slow down a bit to keep stable, which allows her to skate past me. She watches me over her shoulder as we enter a long stretch, and I pump my feet in an attempt to keep up. I manage to keep up with her and let her inside on the next two turns, but when the cones come into sight, it's my turn to use her shoulder as a distraction, and she makes the mistake of looking back at me, losing her focus, and I cross the line before her and throw my hands up in triumph. She slows down and skates a circle around me. So what do I win? Her eyes trace my face and move down my body in a quick sweep, and I have a weird urge to cover myself up with my hands. She turns and skates towards the door. You'll get it. When? Someday. She holds up the skates I rode here in. Now change back. Time to get you back to Kansas. The skate back is quiet. It's pretty late, and I don't know my way, so I follow her through the streets of Chicago. Not many people on the streets in Chicago. There's not very many people on the streets in Chicago except the safest places to be at night or during the day. I check behind me every once in a while, but Wiz seems to be confident in her safety. When we get to the bridge, she turns to me. This is my stop. Will I see you again? I owe you that prize, remember? She skates backwards and I'm scared to look away. Water splashes as she skates over and she has to catch herself on a bench. I try not to snicker. My name's Sid, by the way. She's the first to break eye contact when she turns and skates into the darkness, leaving me alone on the bridge in the middle of Chicago. Cars fly past me and push my hair to my face, and I shiver as the wind hits me and time catches up. As it heads into September, nights are starting to get cold, and I'm not wearing a coat. I put my apartment address in my phone and skate back. When I get off the bridge, I realize she left her skates with me.